Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome here to the Launchpad and our live launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 17-13, set to launch from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad, and here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together. And we're glad to have you joining us live here tonight, going live a little bit earlier to take you through all of the events here today. We're going to quickly run through everything we know about today's mission, and then I'll be getting to your guys' live comments and questions. You can send those in the chat by tagging me at the Launchpad. But today's mission, Starlink 17-13, set to see 24 Starlink satellites go up into low Earth orbit. Today's Falcon 9 booster is booster 1081. It is going for its 22nd flight on a 43-day turnaround. This booster first flew all the way back on August 26, 2023 for SpaceX Crew 12 out of NASA Kennedy Space Center. It spent the first 4 flights over on the Space Coast in Florida, and then it transitioned to Vandenberg for Transporter 10, where it has hung out since then all the way to today's mission here for Starlink 17-13. Its last mission, January 2nd of 2026 for CGS-3, and it landed at landing zone 4. Now, SpaceX had a launch window running from 5 p.m. Eastern Time to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. They are now officially targeting literally the last second of the window for today's launch opportunity. So we are coming up to that go, no-go poll here in just the next couple of minutes, and we'll be waiting for SpaceX to confirm whether they will be going for a launch opportunity here today, or if we will hear that dreaded S word and hear them stand down from operations here today. So we're keeping a close eye on that. We're just going to take a second and sync our countdown clock with SpaceX's countdown here, which is continuing. So we are now under 39 minutes to that final possible T0 for launch here today, which means in the next minute or so, they should be into that go, no go. And if that continues on, then we'll have that RP1 LOX load begin to flow onto the first and second stage at L-35 minutes. We got lots of people tuning in the chat from all over the world. Take a moment, let me know where you're watching from. We'll do some shout outs. Captain Kirsch, thank you so much for that one gifted membership. Thanks for supporting us on that level. If you guys haven't yet, take a moment, share out the stream, invite people to join us as we count down to launch here tonight. As I said, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging me at the Launchpad, and I'll work on answering those live. If you were with us earlier, we had a successful docking of Crew 12 to the International Space Station. Lots of people just jumping on. We got Joni in Riverside in Southern California, Uncle Yukon in Washington State, Birch Moon's in Devon, England. We got FCF in Virginia Beach. We got Mark in Northern Los Angeles County. Welcome. Judith's watching from Ohio. We got Volcanic in Ventura, California. Welcome. We got Patrick from Louisiana who's watching in New Orleans. Welcome. Great to have you here. Hunter all the way up in Alaska. Hope you're keeping warm there. Sorry about hearing the typing there. I'm on my not good keyboard, not my silent keyboard, so I'll try to keep the typing down to a minimum, or I'll try to mute when I do so. I'm just making sure we share out the stream everywhere that we need to ahead of launch. If you're just joining us, that go, no go poll for propellant loading should now be complete, and we are waiting confirmation from SpaceX that they have begun propellant loading. So a couple ways they will confirm that. Either they'll confirm that via a tweet, or we will see them change the countdown clock on their website. So one of the two, that's what we're keeping an eye out for here in the next few minutes. But if everything were to continue as scheduled in about a minute's time, they would begin loading that RP-1 liquid grade rocket fuel onto both the first and second stage of Falcon 9. If you guys are just joining us, if you have questions, you can send those in the chat. Taking me out the Launchpad. We got Fairmay watching from Victoria, Australia. Welcome. Hangouts in Canberra, Australia. Place I do hope to visit one day, see the Deep Space Network there. We got Sakua in Athens, Georgia. Sorry if I said that wrong. Tom's watching from Pomona in LA County. Welcome. Great to have you here. Birch Moon, I forgot there was a launch tonight, so this is a nice surprise. Well, we're glad that you were able to make it. If you ever do miss a launch, you guys can always watch them on a replay. We always leave all of our broadcasts up for you guys to be able to watch in case it's not a good time for you. We've got MT watching from Oceanside in California. Love watching the launches. Hopefully you guys have some great weather there tonight that you'll be able to have a wonderful view of the launch here this evening. As always, if you guys do see a launch and happen to take photos or videos of the launch, make sure you send them to us over on social media. You can find us on Facebook or X, or even easier, join us over on the TLP Discord. We're working on a way of bringing those up onto the stream so we can show what you guys saw over the last, over your launch experience. Dreamland, Zach, can we get a recap of what happened today? Yeah, absolutely. Really, the biggest activity that happened today was Crew 12 docking to the International Space Station. Crew 12 launched on Falcon 9 booster 1101, which flew for its second time. It lifted off from SLC-4E here at Cape Canaveral, Space Force Station here in Florida. It lifted off yesterday morning at 5:56 a.m. Eastern Time. The first stage successfully touched down for the first ever flight, landing at the brand new landing zone 40 at SLC-4E, just a few hundred feet from the launch pad. Crew Dragon Freedom, or Dragon C212, is flying on its fifth flight on a 503-day turnaround. It previously supported Crew 9, and prior to that, AX3. Before that, AX2, and its first flight was on April 27, 2022, of SpaceX Crew 4. It is now docked to the International Space Station. We have 3 astronauts and 1 cosmonaut, 2 Americans, 1 European, and 1 Russian, now aboard the International Space Station, joining the 2 cosmonauts and 1 American astronaut that were already on board the station. Crew 12's mission is going to be the first of a longer long-duration mission as NASA looks to spread out the Dragons and extend our time on station. So it is planned this will be a minimum 8 to 9 month mission for Crew 12. So that's really exciting to see here and have them now officially on board station. The station now has both of its new crews. We shouldn't see a swap over here for a little bit, so we'll see a lot of those activities come back online, and a big question, will we see those spacewalks get scheduled that were supposed to happen prior to the Crew 11 medical emergency? Other than that, in space news, it was more of a quiet day of being everyone's favorite Hallmark holiday. We didn't see too much more. We did see Jared Isaacman address an article in the media about the issues with the space launch system. I'm not going to drive through everything that he wrote, but it's definitely something to head over to his X account and give it a read. And some great things that he's looking forward to for Artemis 3 to help rectify some of the issues maybe we've seen with Artemis 2. One of the keynotes is, and I quote Jared Isaacman, saying, "I will say nearly conclusively for Artemis 3, we will cryo-proof the vehicle before it gets to the pad, and the propellant loading interfaces we are troubleshooting will be redesigned." Very interesting to hear that they may see to make some modifications to the core stage of the Space Launch System in advance of the launch of Artemis 3. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. A little bit about the news that happened today. As it was the weekend, we don't have too much, but we'll wait and hear more. We did have confirmation late on last night, Friday night, from NASA. They did complete that confidence test of the Space Launch System where they fueled it up to 25% and were able to get to the point where they couldn't get to smoothly during the wet dress rehearsal, but they have found that they need to change a filter on one of the, we believe it's one of the propellant lines, and that might be the reason they've been having issues getting to full pressure. So they've now had to work today and probably tomorrow to purge the pad, make sure it's safe for people to get back out there, change out the filter, and then they will look at all the data the next couple of days before locking into a wet dress rehearsal date. They're still saying this month for that. Many of us were hoping it was going to be this next week. We'll have to wait and see. And that they are saying the window that opens on March 6th is still the earliest possible launch opportunity. Now, there are many rumors that March 3rd, a daytime launch window, is being considered. Apparently, Jared Isaacman said something about it. I personally have not seen that. But the official NASA calendar put out to the media, confirmed by NASA, that they have basically shoved down the media's throat anytime anyone said any other dates previously, does not have the 3rd. It starts on the 6th. So we are going to run on that until NASA officially says there are other opportunities. APS Dev, does Crew 12 have to do the Crew 11 spacewalk to prep the solar panel for the mounting? We believe that will happen. Every mission, every crew has spacewalk training. It's been a long couple of days. Has spacewalk training. So it is definitely something that they could look at doing if NASA decides and deems that that's what they're wanting to do. Abermon, hey Zach, I was wondering how many more crews are going up before the ISS gets decommissioned. So we don't have an exact number. We do know that NASA has officially announced the next 2 private astronaut missions. One went to Axiom Space. The big news, the second one went to VAST. So that's really exciting. Love Axiom Space. Love the 4 missions that they've done. Excited they've got a 5th, but excited to see someone else get a chance to do it. It'll still be SpaceX and Crew Dragon, but it will be a different company doing a private mission. I saw someone maybe mentioning the website. There's still some tweaks. Once it's fully ready, I will definitely give you a tour. But if you've been snooping around and have found something, you can enjoy what you're seeing a little early. Rory, does NASA have any plans to go anywhere else than Mars? Mars is really not a good idea. Well, I'd love to hear why you think Mars is not a good idea. But currently, NASA's main target is the moon, and everything in NASA says we will go to the moon first, sustain ourselves there, and then we will use the moon to go to Mars. So, up until the last couple of weeks, the plan was, like, SpaceX was Mars, Mars, Mars. Blue Origin was everywhere. And NASA was Moon, and then eventually Mars. Now, Blue Origin is Moon, Moon, Moon. SpaceX was Mars can wait, Moon, Moon, Moon. And NASA is Moon, Moon, Moon. So everyone is focused on the Moon. And eventually, the Moon will launch things to Mars. And there's actually the possibility that we will build rockets and spacecrafts on the Moon for those missions to Mars rather than launching vehicles from Earth. So I personally am really excited for that future. I'm desperate for that Star Trek future where we have, big ship stations in orbit where we build elaborate, beautiful spacecrafts. NASA is also continuing to work on their nuclear engine. That is getting supported by the administrator. So that's really amazing to see. Max-Q, someone needs a coffee. Unfortunately, I can only have decaf coffee because medically. I don't get to have caffeine for at least another month or so. And even then, I'm going to be limited on it. But, so yeah, I'll try to get some Arnold Palmer here or something in a second. Hopefully that'll help. If you're just joining us, though, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad, and we are, unless SpaceX decides to tell us differently, we are into propellant loading for Starlink 17-13, which is set to launch in just 24 minutes, 44 seconds from now, from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If you guys have questions, keep sending those in the chat by tagging me at the Launchpad, and I'll do my very best on answering those comments and questions live. If you're new, make sure you've engaged that subscribe button as well. It's free to do so. It really does help us out. Nightbot, just drop it in there. You've got the application in the chat there. If you're interested in becoming a launch commentator like myself, maybe you're a photographer or videographer, want to be a rocket chaser, or maybe you want to be like Judith in the chat and be a moderator, take a moment, check out that application. We got some time. Only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out, and we'd love to invite some more of you onto the TLP crew. Nightbot did also put out a link there if you'd like to help support our Artemis 2 mission coverage. We are doing fully independent coverage where we have, I can't even tell you how much money we've spent, it's insane, to expand our equipment, and we're really excited to be bringing you full independent coverage. I've actually stayed down in Florida while we await this next launch window. It was cheaper than going back and forth. And we've been working on some other projects while we've been down here. I am eagerly excited to tell you guys about something that has been starting to come together in the last 48 hours. But I'm not going to do so until papers are signed. But something really, really cool is in the works right now. And will be a huge leap forward for us. So there will be more information coming, hopefully, in the coming weeks about that for you guys. Members, stay tuned. You'll probably be the first to know. But if you'd like to help support what we do, you can hit that GoFundMe or you can hit that join button down below the stream. 99 cents a month gets your name lit up in green, that TLP helmet next to your name, and we'd really appreciate your guys' support. That money doesn't go to me. That money goes into supporting the cost of Airbnbs to have our team in the field, equipment to be in the field. We've had to buy portable production equipment and batteries and systems like that, tents and all that to be out at the press site. And we're doing this to bring you the best possible coverage of everything space, not just for Artemis 2, but for going on forward after that. And we can only do that thanks to your guys' generous support. I see you, Harvey. Sorry, I only saw one name on the chat in the moment. Harvey's here too. Be like Harvey. Harvey is awesome. Harvey doesn't say much, but when Harvey says something, either you guys have done something really bad or he's saying something really brilliant. So we're glad to have you here, Harvey. I appreciate it. Common Citizen, TLP coverages are very good. Best wishes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. I know we may not be the best in absolutely everything yet, but I promise we are working on it. We're really excited. And that's one of the reasons we're pushing out that application. We need more help. We've got some massive projects in the undertaking that some of them will take a lot of my time. So that's why we're excited to expand our launch commentary and producer roles. And it's stuff you can do remotely from really anywhere in the world. So we're looking for some awesome people to join us, and we're excited. Volcanic. I thought the nuclear thermal engine demonstrator was canceled last year, or is there another one? Jared Isaacman is pushing nuclear power again. So is the administration. So that is back on the plans that hopefully by 2030 we will have a nuclear rocket engine, which would be really, really cool. Rory, I haven't drank coffee in 30 years. I can't stand the taste of it. I love a coffee, but I can't. It has to be a really good, like a good roast if I'm gonna have it black. Normally I'll put something else with it, like caramel or just even a light cream or vanilla, things like that. I'm focused on no sugar and protein. Those are my two focuses. So, Tom T. Ray, Zach, is there any issue with the weather at Vandy or the booster recovery site? Not that I have seen. We don't get near the weather information for Vandenberg like we do from Florida, from the Space Force. So we kind of only can look at these weather conditions we get from the GOES weather satellite. These images update every about 5 minutes. So you can see that actually the Terminator line on that left one, you can see the darkness descend and the lights of LA turn on. So we're keeping an eye there. Nothing too crazy, it looks like, on the thickness of the clouds or their locations. So we should have a good opportunity for launch here this evening. Excuse me. But again, we are waiting for confirmation from SpaceX. But on their website, the countdown clock does continue to tick, which is a great sign, because normally if they did not begin fueling, we see that clock pause within 5-10 minutes, and we're well past that now. Ooh, a fresh ground and a French press, Judith. Yes, that is how to do it. Love a French press of a fresh ground coffee. I've been very lucky to have very fresh coffee, like less than 36-hour, 48-hour-old coffee, fresh from the roaster, in Nicaragua and a couple other countries. And whew, you can't beat fresh coffee compared to the ground kind of garbage coffee we get in North America. Let me know in the chat, what type of coffee do you guys like? How do you take your coffee? Are you a flavored coffee? Or are you a tea person? You can let us know in the chat. Those are definitely challenges on Mars, Rory, but not any reason why we cannot live there. We can build habitats that support all of that. The moon is far less supportive of life than Mars. Uncle Yukon, yesterday I bought myself 2 birthday presents, was going to buy one. Well, I don't know when your birthday is, but if it was yesterday, today, or sometime soon, or a few days ago, happy birthday. Everyone can wish Uncle Yukon a happy birthday in the chat. Fairmaid says tea only. Judith says, I like a little coffee with my chocolate syrup. I've never been a chocolate in my coffee person. I'll do a chocolate covered coffee bean, but not, no. Oh, the chat is singing. I'm not reading the chat singing happy birthday. That y'all don't pay enough to hear me sing. Y'all will leave and skip it. It's a Starlink. You would leave. Joe Dog, I like a little coffee in my cream and sugar. It's good to see you, Joe Dog. Thanks for jumping on. Hope you're doing well. Community coffee between roast. Yeah. If you're just joining us, welcome. We are now L-17 minutes and counting till SpaceX launches Starlink 17-13 from Space Launch Complex 4 East, or SLC-4E, from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If you happen to be in the Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, or Ventura counties, you may hear one or more sonic booms during today's mission. The booster will not be coming back to Vandenberg tonight. It will be landing on the drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is stationed downrange in the Pacific Ocean. On board today's mission, 24, I think I said 25 earlier, 24 Starlink V2 minis heading up to low Earth orbit. Now, SpaceX no longer provides live coverage of deployment. That deployment set to occur 1 hour, 1 minute, 46 seconds into flight. So you have to stay tuned for confirmation of payload deployment on social media. But we will be staying live through liftoff, through first stage landing, back on the drone ship, and through SECO 1. SECO 1 is when that second stage cuts off and the payload and the second stage still attached together are in their initial parking orbit. Back on the coffee chat, Keith likes a black medium roast. I love a good medium roast. Never Starbucks. Oh, see, you lost me there. I love a protein coffee at Starbucks. I don't like the price. Starbucks, if you want to sponsor us, call us. But I don't like the price, but I do like a Starbucks coffee. Fresh ground coffee in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. D can't stand the smell of tea for some very valid reasons. I love a good tea. I probably like a tea more than a... It's probably equal. It depends the situation. Like right now, I would love to have a tea. But I'm in a rental apartment, and I got coffee delivered today, and I didn't even think, I think I brought tea from home. I might be able to make a cup of tea. That would actually be quite lovely. Canada Boy friend has his camera ready to see it in the sky in Arizona. That's awesome. If he gets pictures, Canada Boy, make sure he sends us those on social media. We'll see you later, Joe Dog. Thanks for jumping on. You only got 14 and a half minutes to launch. You got to put us up on the big screen. Rory, you do not do the docking events because there was no commentary by you. No, NASA had their own commentary along with SpaceX. So normally if a launch provider or agency is providing commentary, I really do try not to talk over them because they will have far more information that is accurate and valid than I will. It's a different situation when we're here for like Artemis and I'm out at the press site and we're getting information in the field. Then I would do my commentary over NASA's at certain points, but I do believe there are important times to listen into mission control and the official commentary from the launch providers. D, there's caffeine in tea, not as much. Yeah, I have decaf. I'm pretty sure I brought a box of decaf Earl Grey. I'd have to find it. Well, I appreciate that, Rory. Thanks so much. Jason, is this live? I sure hope so. I really do hope so, because if not, in 13 minutes, we're not going to see a rocket launch, but we should see one. Now, it is Vandenberg. There's always a chance that there's fog, and we might not see the rocket, but we will still see the glow of the flame. So, in just under 13 minutes, you will see SpaceX launch a Falcon 9 with 24 Starlink V2 minis on board, heading up to low Earth orbit. In about 7 minutes, 6-7 minutes, SpaceX will begin their live coverage. The moment that they do, we will, of course, patch them in, listen into SpaceX Mission Control for an update on how the countdown is progressing. And I'll be taking you through launch commentary for Starlink here this evening. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat. Take me at the Launchpad. Work on answering those live for you guys while we continue through today's broadcast this evening. Also, make sure you take a moment and subscribe so you never miss another live launch coverage. Taking a look at the launch schedule ahead for the rest of this month. On Monday at 12 a.m. Eastern Time, we have a launch of Starlink 6-103 from here in Space Coast in Florida. On Wednesday at 3 a.m. Eastern, midnight Pacific, we have Starlink 17-25 launching from the same pad as tonight in Vandenberg. On Wednesday evening, if everything holds, at 5 p.m. Eastern, we have Falcon 9 launching Starlink 10-36. On Friday, there is a tentative launch of a Firefly Alpha Block 1 from Vandenberg. Stay tuned. They are currently targeting 4:20 p.m. Pacific, 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for confirmation of that. We are working to try to bring you live coverage of that. Continuing on the month ahead, February 21st, we are back to Vandenberg for Starlink 17-26, launching at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And also on the 21st, we'll be back here on Space Coast in Florida for Starlink 6104 from Cape Canaveral, that targeting 9:04 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on February 23rd, Rocket Lab is planning a suborbital launch from a Wallops. We most likely won't have live coverage of that, but we are working on that to begin coverage of those in the future. Continuing on, February 24th, we got Starlink 6-110 launching from here in the Space Coast in Florida at 3:56 p.m. Eastern Time. On February 24th, we may have a Kairos launch out of Japan, so stay tuned for that at 9 p.m. Eastern. February 25th, 3 a.m. Eastern, midnight Pacific, Starlink 17-23 from Vandenberg. On the 26th at 4:59 a.m. Eastern, another Starlink from here in Florida. And then we've got a bunch of tentative launches for the rest of the month. But of course, the big one, early March, fingers crossed, Artemis 3. If you're just joining us, though, welcome. We are now just 9 minutes, 25 seconds and counting till liftoff of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket with 24 Starlink V2 mini satellites on board, heading up to low Earth orbit. SpaceX and Starlink did confirm they have now passed their 10 millionth subscriber and customer using the Starlink constellation. So really amazing to see that number continue to grow. Because if I remember correctly, I think I got one when there was like 100,000, less than 100,000. So it's really cool to see it now becoming such a grand scale thing. And think about how many people use Starlink that aren't necessarily a subscriber. Almost every cruise ship in the world now uses Starlink. I would probably say, I don't know, 50 to 70% of all commercial airliners are probably on Starlink now or are in the process of transitioning to Starlink. Even Southwest Airlines, generally a cheaper airline, is now looking and starting to convert to Starlink, which is really cool to see. Starlink really taking a sweep here. But in the next couple of years, we will see Amazon Leo, a competitor to Starlink, come on board. And I think they're going to have a really big chance of kind of just flicking a switch and coming online because keep in mind, they got hundreds of millions of people already signed up as Amazon Prime memberships. So does Amazon Leo become part of that? This isn't sponsored. I've never used Leo, so we'll see how it is, and I'll give you my honest opinion. But I really am excited to try Leo and compare it to Starlink and see what the differences are and see which I prefer, or maybe I will prefer best. As we come down, T-minus 7 minutes, 42 seconds, and counting till launch. SpaceX is getting spooled up, getting ready to begin their live coverage. So we will transition. Ooh, didn't mean to start their audio. Sorry about that. We'll transition to this layout there so you can see the timeline a little bit cleaner as we continue to count down. We are now just about 22 seconds away from when engine chill will begin. That's when the 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage of Falcon 9. Today's Falcon 9 booster is booster 1081, going for its 22nd flight. Those 9 engines will be chilled down in preparation for ignition. See a couple guesses coming in on the apogee. Not just yet. We're almost there. We're getting close. Hold those guesses, though. If it's your first time here, though, we have a little bit of fun with every Falcon 9 mission. You can guess what the apogee will be of the first stage by sending in those numbers. We normally start at the 2 or 3 minutes to launch mark, and then you have until the moment of lift off to get those guesses in. Also, if you got a couple minutes to get ready, if you're not a TLP member yet, consider hitting that join button. Just 99 cents a month gets your name lit up in green, that TLP helmet next to your name. But more importantly, you get access to some very awesome custom TLP launch emotes. Lots of things that you can use for launches like tonight. We'll drop some of them in the chat there. So consider becoming a member to get access to those launch emotes and many more in the future. Coming down now to just 6 minutes and counting until liftoff of Starlink 17-20 or 17-13, excuse me, not 23, 13. The next major events will be at T-minus 1 minute. That is when Falcon 9 will take over the count and pressurize its tanks to flight levels. At L-minus 45 seconds, that is when the launch director will give a final go for launch. Falcon 9 will continue through the launch countdown. I'll be taking you all the way to first stage landing and second engine cutoff, where it arrives in its initial parking orbit. So we hope that you'll stay tuned for that. We do have a bit of a coast phase in there when the first stage is beginning its journey back to Earth. So take some time, think of a question, send those in the chat by tagging me at the Launchpad. And during the coast phase, we'll be answering those comments and questions if we deem them safe to do so on the broadcast. Thanks so much for becoming a suborbital explorer there, Marshall. Thanks for that support. Don't you get those custom TLP launch emotes and your name now lit up in green and that awesome helmet next to your name as well. The longer you are a member, the helmet will change different colors. And we're going to sync our countdown clock here with SpaceX, as we are now L-minus 4 minutes, 55 seconds, and counting till liftoff here this evening. You're looking at a live look of Slick 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. A beautiful sunset happening there. And it's interesting, there must be a little bit of wind, but not a lot. We're really not seeing a ton of venting. It's kind of pushing off behind the rocket, not seeing near as much venting as we have in the past. And that's all just the weather conditions and different things that affect that. As we come down to the final minutes of the count, we're going to hide our countdown event timeline on the left side of your screen there. So we count down 4 minutes, 12 seconds, and counting till liftoff. We will, of course, go full screen just prior to liftoff at that T-minus 1 minute mark. You are hearing some sights and sounds of the launch countdown progressing. If you haven't yet, take a moment, share out the stream. It's a great time to do so. BZ, thanks so much for becoming a suborbital explorer as well. I appreciate that support. Megan, you're absolutely right. It is a beautiful view there. A couple of people still a little bit ahead. You got 15 seconds until we start getting those guesses in the chat. Let's make sure you stand by for that. When we go full screen, that is when you can start putting your guesses for apogee of the first stage in the chat. T-minus 3 minutes and counting till launch.
Stage 1 lock load is complete. Stage 2 lock load is complete.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the Launchpad and our live launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 17-13. We are at L-90 seconds and counting till launch. You can hear there the closeouts have begun. The strongback is retracted. They are purging the lines on the pad in preparation for liftoff. In just 15 seconds, Falcon 9 will take over the count at L-60 seconds and pressurize its tanks to flight levels. 15 seconds later, the launch director at L-45 seconds will give a final go for launch, and Falcon 9 will take over the count. And take it through the count,
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And there we go. Falcon 9 now taking over the count, pressurizing tanks to flight levels, L-53 seconds and counting till launch. Let's see a go, no go in the chat. Don't forget to use those custom TLP launch emotes.
Launch director, go for launch.
And that's what we wanted to hear and see. We've got a go for launch, L-36 seconds and counting.
30 seconds. Fifteen seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engine full power and liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink, Falcon 9, will you be my Valentine?
Vehicle pitching downrange.
And Falcon 9 has launched from SLC-4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. It is piercing through the clouds on Space Coast West. Sorry, I was not expecting the Valentine's Day comment. Well done to whoever is on commentary there this evening for a really great, very smooth inclusion of that there this evening. As we go through T plus 50 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 continuing to throttle up in its flight, getting ready to go through big moment here of Max-Q. It's a moment of peak mechanical stress on the vehicle, really the most dangerous point in the flight.
Max-Q.
And there's that call out that we wanted to hear. You'll now see Falcon 9 will throttle up, increasing in its speed quite dramatically. And those G-forces are now going to start to increase 2.1, 2.2 Gs and increasing in force on the launch vehicle. 9 good Merlin engines on ignition. Falcon 9 now traveling over 2,500 kilometers an hour, passing 20 kilometers in altitude. T plus 95 seconds into flight. We are now just about 40 seconds away from a big sequence of events kicking off with MECO, or first stage main engine cutoff. That'll begin at T plus 2 minutes, 26 seconds. That'll be immediately followed by first and second stage separation, second engine start, or SES-1, grid fin deploy on the first stage, and then about 20 seconds later, fairing separation. And that is when those 24 Starlink V2 mini satellites will be exposed to space for the very first time. Now about 15 seconds away from that sequence of events, let's listen for the callouts.
Eco. Stage separation confirmed. I'm back, startup. Pairing separation confirmed.
And a great sequence of events there. T plus 3 minutes, 7 seconds into flight. The first stage now continuing just under its momentum, heading up to its apogee. The second stage continuing now under power, now passing that Kármán line of 100 kilometers traveling over 8,600 kilometers an hour and increasing. The first stage has now passed that 100-kilometer Kármán line, traveling 7,300 kilometers an hour and decreasing as it floats up to its apogee. We'll have to wait and see just a moment here to see which of you got your guesses right for the apogee of the first stage. The first stage will then begin its journey back down to Earth with 2 burns. Entry burn will begin 5 minutes 59 seconds into flight, lasting 22 seconds, and landing burn beginning 7 minutes 57 seconds into flight, lasting 23 seconds. If you guys have comments or questions, you can send those in the chat by taking me at the Launchpad. And now that we're in this coast phase, that'll be the time that I'll be able to answer those live for you here this evening.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Stage 1 entry burn startup. Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And a fantastic entry burn there now complete. The first stage now continuing to slow down as it descends towards the drone ship. Of course, I Still Love You down in the Pacific Ocean, passing now below 25 kilometers in altitude. The second stage continuing under power, now coming up to just under 18,000 kilometers an hour in speed, passing 151 kilometers in altitude. We're 7 minutes 5 seconds into flight. The first stage will begin its landing burn here. Landing burn expected to begin 7 minutes 57 seconds into today's mission. Again, reminder, we'll be staying live through first stage landing and confirmation of initial parking orbit. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage or our full countdown to launch of Artemis 2 coverage with the 24/7 pad camera and our 24/7 cameras on the ISS and Starbase Texas. There you can see the ocean coming into view. 15 seconds till engine ignition for landing burn.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 2 terminal guidance.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And a beautiful landing there on the drone ship. Of course, I still love you. The second stage just has a couple more seconds left in its initial burn, and we'll have confirmation here in just a moment. And there we have it. SECO 1, Falcon 9 second stage. And the 24 Starlink V2 minis are now officially in their parking orbit. Quick view there while we get that camera shot back. 138 kilometers in altitude, traveling at 28,557 kilometers an hour. That is going to do it for us here for our live coverage of SpaceX Starlink 17-13. Thank you so much for joining us and spending your Valentine's Day evening with us. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that subscribe button so you never have to watch another rocket launch alone. Here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we do believe that space is better together. We, of course, are counting down to Artemis 2. Stay up to date with the latest over on our Facebook, our X, or on our 24/7 coverage of the SLS out at Launch Complex 39B here at NASA Kennedy Space Center. But for now, from our TLP remote studio in the field, my name's Zach, and we will see you next time, because space is better together. Good night.